Peace. This is Jamal. I just listened to something that was super powerful and read this meme, and it talks about I forgive myself for focusing on lack and limitation. And I thought it was such a powerful message because I didn't realize that just the way our society is now, even though we have access to so much intellectually, physically, and even spiritually, we are in these spaces where we've been taught to focus on lack, limitation, almost from childhood. And what ends up happening is we become conditioned to believe that things aren't ours, or we can't have something, and it's not time, and there's all these conditions as to why we're unable to get the things that we want out of life. And because of this belief system, we end up becoming adults who then tell our children and our friends and family members that they can't do something, they haven't done this yet, they need to just wait. And what I'm realizing after watching that is like, I don't necessarily have to wait, but I do have to plant the seed. And I have to plant, the only thing that I'm waiting for is for it to manifest once I've planted the seed. I think most times we're waiting, but we're waiting on someone to either give us the seed, we're waiting for someone to water it for us, we're waiting on other external factors and pieces in order for this thing to come to fruition, as opposed to it being something that we've put in place, described to a T, planted the seed with the right soil, watered it, and then said, no, this is taking fruition, and kind of living into that feeling of this is what it is and this is what it's going to be. So it was a very triggering post for me to look at something to say, I forgive myself for operating from a space of lack and limitation, because I always consider myself to be someone who was very positive and, forward pushing, but then to recognize in that moment, like, oh, well, if I don't have what it is that I want currently, then I must be operating from a space of lack and limitation. And as I start to take inventory of my life and where I am at the moment, I was like, oh, well, this is where I feel I don't deserve this. This is where I feel that I haven't done enough work yet. I might not be good enough. I might not be great enough. I might not be as good as I think I am. All these ideas pop up, and I started to realize, like, wow, all those ideas are just those seeds that were planted. Those are the fruits from those seeds that were planted so long ago of lack and limitation. This idea that at some point in time when I was younger, someone must have told me I can't have something, and I brought that all the way into my adulthood with me to place me in this space of like, oh, well, maybe I just need to wait, and everything happens in its time. Things do happen in their time. They happen in the time that they take to manifest once you've chosen to manifest it, once you've planted that seed. And they manifest quickly or slowly depending on what soil you've put it in, how well you're watering those crops. So what soil you can put it in is the environment that you're in. What is the mental state that you're in? Do you believe that you will actually receive it? The watering of the crops might be the constant visualization or being around the people who embody that for you. If you're a person who wants to lose weight and you want to be stronger, if you're constantly around people who are much healthier than you or much stronger than you, then what will happen is your body will end up transforming like that. To give a personal story, I've put up my transformation picture from last year to this year, and funny, I actually have to put up another one. But last year, I was probably around 170 something, not really in shape. I was working out, but it just wasn't, my body didn't look great to me, nor did it feel great. And what I ended up doing was when I came back to New York City and I started working at Temple Gym, I remember the statement that a mentor of mine made, which was, man, like everybody here looks like a monster. And in, I would say, 5 to 6 months, I transformed my body into what it is now. And it was due to the fact that I was literally surrounded by people who looked better than I looked. It was constantly on my mind. So it was almost like the energy. My body couldn't resist the energy because it was focus. It was my focus every day. And I say that basically to say, like, I guess that's where the energy comes from, or that's where the whole watering of your soil comes from. Like, are you watering it with the things that it needs in order to grow? I don't think I could have achieved the body that I have now in Florida because I just wasn't around people who look like monsters. These guys here, like, these guys train like 7 days a week. They're trained twice a day. So it created a different atmosphere in my life in order for me to succeed. So, yeah. If anyone is out there today, I invite you to take a look at your life and see where there is a place where you've accepted lack or limitation. And I invite you to forgive yourself. Forgiveness isn't a major thing. It's a major thing for so many reasons. You don't really just need to forgive other people outside of yourself. Honestly, the main thing is, forgiving yourself. That's what I think everything is. Everything's about, self-knowledge, self-help, self-forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Find a way to forgive yourself and put yourself in a space where you're able to accept the great that the world wants to offer you. You're able to accept the rewards that the world wants to offer you. You're able to accept the things that you actually want and desire. So many times we want things and desire things, but we're not able to accept them. And once we get them, it's almost as if it's too good to be true. Nothing is too good to be true. If it's good and you want it, accept it. If it's good, want it, accept it. You're smart enough, you're great enough, we're all wise enough to learn. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that it was something wrong. Like, it always just means that you learned. You learned. No one studies the right answers on the exam. They all study the wrong answers so that they can actually do better on the next test. So your mistakes are there to teach you only. That is their only reason. They hurt in order to teach you. If it didn't hurt, you wouldn't go back to look at it again. It hurt so badly in order for you to learn. So that was I don't even know what today is. I think today's the 12th. Probably. Or the 13th. Who knows? Clearly I don't monitor the dates. But that's my Thursday thought process on lack and limitation. Peace.